Um, I just recently finished my the CompTIA Security Plus certification. I've always kind of had a desire to go into business for myself when it comes to security things. So part of that was I was attracted to the bug bounty hunting aspect of it, just for the independence alone, and kind of the ability to do your own thing and create your own method and then employ that from there. I think it's really just been kind of the fact that I'm able to start from the get go and create my own my own method, my own business, and my own structure, and kind of do it my own way. So that's been part of the motivation. The fact that and I don't really have anything that I could say that I've got nailed down as a strategy or a method yet. I watch a lot of YouTube videos. I've taken Nahamsek's course through Udemy. The bug bounty intro to bug bounty course. I finished that. I feel confident in using the tools for the most part. What I don't know, it's not like I can't find a command out on Google somewhere that I need to find. But the difficult part has been, it's like, okay, now that I've said I've scanned a network and I've got some domains and I've enumerated some subdomains, and it's like, so, okay, so now what? And that's sort of been like that difficult leap from gathering recon to actual the start of an exploitation or the start of a payload development, or what to look for in the wild, because me and all this other good stuff you can practice all day and you can see everything you need to see in a practice environment, but those aren't real.
True.
And the fact that those aren't real doesn't help me in the part that I'm having trouble with is, well, how do I know what to look for? How do I know whenever I see something like, oh, this is a potential vulnerability here,
Exactly. True.
rather than relying on a tool that I assume is accurate, is going to tell me what I need to know. I'd like to know with my naked eye kind of what it is that I need to see,
Right.
so that I know without having to rely on something else that may or may not be accurate. You know what I mean? So it's just, I'm kind of stuck in this limbo right now. So I guess that was my motivation, was to try to start
That's
to
true.
nail something down. So yeah.
That's true. I totally agree. Because what you said, right? It's like everyone's journey.
Yeah.
Everyone starts by watching videos, and
Right.
then they jump onto Twitch channels. I just don't want to name it, but
Right. I get it.
and then it will be like in midnight or somewhere they will be doing recons, and then we will be collecting millions of subdomain, right?
Yeah.
And
Right.
that journey will never end.
Yeah. That sounds like, it seems like it produces one or two vulnerabilities out of all these hundreds and thousands of subdomains you scanned. And I'm like, that seems like a lot. Better hope those vulnerabilities pay out. But yeah.
Mm. And I totally respect it, like, because it's a learning, like,
Yeah.
although it won't pay, you cannot expect money out of it. Definitely, whatever they are showing, definitely it's like nowhere close to the actual bug. Because if you think that way, right, like there are guys who are making like around, millions in bug bounty.
Yeah.
And there are guys who are submitting 10 to 15 reports daily. So I don't think they are doing recon and shit. Okay. It's like,
Right. Yeah.
right.
I can't imagine they're doing hours of recon,
Right. And you know that, right? In Recon, they will tell you to find domains followed by subdomains, and it
Yeah.
doesn't end there. Actually, it starts from there, and then they will tell you to do port scan. So come on,
Yeah.
man. Port scan
Right.
of million domains.
I was when I listened to what you said yesterday, it's like ports are supposed to be open. I'm like, I mean, yeah, it makes perfect sense. People don't really think about, yeah, ports are designed to be open for a reason. You're like, I got an open port. You're like, so what? So yeah,
It is
it
powered by
starts to kind of click.
Yeah, because that thinking is powered by Nmap, and it has actually corrupted our mind. Like open port is actually a bug. Because when I started in bug bounty journey, I was so I was so obsessed with this open port thing. I was looking for open ports here and there. Every time now and then I was looking open ports. But
Yeah.
reported in few of the programs, and then they just told me, okay, it's a crap. Okay, because
Yeah.
we know, right? We cannot show any impact on open port. We just can say, okay, trace enable or something like that. Or at max, we can say some of the, algorithms or some of the communication encryption is weak or something like that, but they won't accept it because that is not what they want in a bug bounty program. And
Right.
actually, that is the thing. Like, if tools can do it, there is no, our requirement in that. So there's no point asking money for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I did it actually. I spent a decent amount of time, whatever you just said, right? Following Twitch, following YouTube channels, all that. Even the conferences and seminars I also attended.
Yeah.
Okay. But at the end, I know, like, okay, this is something which is not working. Okay. Because I already invested like 1.5 years doing so. Okay.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, come on, this is something which is totally not fair. Something is wrong. And there I changed my strategy actually. And what I did after that is, like, actually, I started that way, definitely. But after that, what I did is actually I just look for the bugs for 15 to 20 days. Okay. I
Mm.
pick one of the category. Definitely, it's not XSS. I don't do XSS and SQLi injection because
Yeah.
that is also a technological bug. It was there in older ages or ancient time, but it doesn't work nowadays. What I
Yeah.
would be saying, it is there definitely, but finding it is a technical skill actually. Okay,
Right.
someone who is just starting in bug bounty, they can put quotes or alert payload here and there, which is fine.
Right. Yeah. It's hard. That's the thing is like it's hard to know. I can learn the concept through a through a CTF or learn it through some kind of walkthrough or whatever. But yeah, understanding that if I'm out looking for something on my own, then like that's what I'm looking at is
Mhm.
the difficult part to know. Like I don't is that subject to XSS or is that what do I do here? So yeah, that's been where I'm like it's like I don't really you know I've got a foundation, but knowing that I feel like knowing that next level or knowing that kind of and that was kind of what made me part of what made me contact you was the I didn't quite you were going through kind of like the GitHub stuff, the GitHub repos, and you started to kind of nail the going to Node and npm and starting at like a really base level of where where things were,
Yeah,
uh, and then starting to kind of expand from there. I'm like, yeah, that makes a whole lot more sense that you're trying to, you know, you're sort of. That's I was explaining to my girlfriend. I'm like, well, it's kind of like taking instead of like going to Walmart or Target and you find the only one left on the shelf, you got access to the warehouse where they're all made. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like it's not like all of them, but there's a lot of them in this one spot versus you go do all this work to find one. And it doesn't. But yeah, the way you were kind of diving into that, like I said, it seemed to make a whole lot more sense as far as the approachability and the methodology. So
yeah,
yeah,
definitely. Although I didn't learn it in a day or so because I also
sure, yeah, yeah, right,
it's like now I'm like doing things like from 8 years now, and
yeah,
now the bugs are like a football for me. After
yeah,
a amount of experience, you can literally see whether this is a bug or not, and it's like a plain vanilla vision actually. Okay, like even if I just give you a screen, and that belongs to a company, nobody will actually report it because they
right,
don't know that it is a bug. But even whatever, even a screenshot that belongs to a company, you can literally report it and get paid. Okay, it
right.
is crazy as that, but you have to know that that thing is paying you.
That's what it is. Yes, 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 yeah,
So this whole thing is actually around that because there is a lack of the gap, and whatever people are doing is nowhere close. And the other thing that usually comes is the saturation part. Okay, like, forget saturation. Saturation is on the the lower side. Okay, like because there are like thousands of people on the lower side, and
yeah,
they just look for the same thing again and again, and then they call it a saturation, which is,
yeah,
but then the funnel goes like this, and
yeah.
hardly two people are there, 5 or 10, who does it in the right way, and they
We're
never
actually getting
call it.
paid for it.
Yeah, and they
Yeah,
never call it as a saturation, and because those
yeah.
are collaborating, to be honest.
Right. Yeah. Right. Right. It's like the five people that actually know. Like, okay, let's get away from all these fools that don't know what they're doing. Okay, us five, we can make money. You got yours, I got mine. He's got his. And then let's go. Yeah. Yeah. That seems like a losing battle too. Is just the. I know that I understand there are endless amounts of vulnerabilities out there, but again, when you've got everybody that's focusing on the same,
Yeah,
well, Yahoo supposedly has got this kind of, and then everybody starts attacking that particular type of vulnerability. You're like, okay, there's 3 million people trying to figure out this, that they've
exactly.
got this or don't have this vulnerability. And I'm sure probably a week ago it was already figured out and patched up, and they don't have to worry about it now. So, but yeah, it just
So
that can seem daunting. But I again, like whenever I heard you talk the other day, I was like, okay, that now that seems like an approach that would lead you, kind of get you around the fools somewhat. So yeah,
because it will give you a designated path, the path which
yeah,
is working. It will give you a way where you can literally figure out new bugs, because
yeah,
mindset is required. You have to develop a mindset. Okay, forget about dedication and stuff. Everyone is dedicated. Everyone is,
right,
they have their mindset. They know, okay, we have to put efforts, but the direction is lacking. They don't know where, in which direction they have to put effort.
correct,
That is the thing. Once you have to learn things such that you can come up with your own ways of figuring out new bugs. Okay, and that
agreed.
is what I do. I don't go to like usually conferences and all that shit, because it is fair and square. It's like two or
Yeah.
three listing there, but you can.
Everybody does the same thing out of those. It seems like everybody just follows this, it walks away with the same information and it just the same stuff. I like in this kind of business, it's like you can't just do the same stuff. It doesn't seem like,
Exactly, that is, you
you
cannot
you
do that.
cannot be doing that stuff. You got to be kind of like, well, what's the new thing? I try to read news, but it's just being inexperienced is, it's almost like you don't know what you're reading sometimes. So, but I know that with time that'll get there, and yeah, I just can't be afraid to, I guess, jump into the more complex stuff, even though that I'm
Exactly.
not
Sooner
totally
or
there yet.
later, you have to jump, which is fair and square, because that is what the learning is, right? And once you know what thing is working, then it's a totally different vision, actually. It just changes the way you think. As simple,
Yeah,
it's like it is cutting all your gap, whatever you will be learning in 5 years down the line, because you will be
right,
doing in trials, you will be doing the same stuff which other is doing. Rather, just cut the 5 year gap and see where that guy is there and who is literally done that, nailed it down for you, and you can just learn from him, so that you don't want to do the same thing again. Like reinventing is not the purpose of anything, actually.
right,
Okay,
right.
that is what I do. And most of the question, like common question that people have is like, why you are showing your bugs and all. Okay, because that is the way I teach. Okay, I
Yeah,
don't like hide my bugs. In that mentorship program, I just, okay, tell them what my methodology look like. Okay, even if you want to find, it's all fine, because the way is actually Hackerone and Bugcrowd is fine, but these are not only two platforms. That is what I usually tell people. There are like
yeah,
millions, like 5 million companies out there which are like looking for services.
right,
Forget bug bounty. Bug bounty is like way of getting things, just to showcase. Just learn bug bounty to showcase and convert them as a client. Okay,
sure,
and that is what I do. I don't rely on bug bounty for my income and all. I just try to convert them. I have like my skills. I try to show them. I just try to put some report, good decent reports and all, and then I try to somehow convert them into the clients so that they can pay me on a retainer basis. Okay,
sure,
like I can have like 5 or 10 clients which can pay me 2,000. One client can pay me $2,000 per month, and it's
yeah,
not a big ask for them. It's like pennies. If I just say $2,000
right,
to client, it's pennies. Forget pennies. It's like not even pennies. They are ready to
yeah,
pay like 5K or 8K for the services, but
right,
you have to have a skill set. That is the thing. And
yeah,
once that bug bounty is the real skill set which can convert actual client. Okay, if you
right,
cannot them the impact, they will never like come to you, or they will never take the service from you.
right. Yeah,
So that's the thing.
and that's kind of in my direction is that, and I wanted to be, I started off in the bug bounty thing, and then at some point to be able to transition to where I can offer those services. My target was kind of like I wanted to target smaller businesses here in the United States,
Okay, awesome.
because they seem like they're often overlooked when it comes to security, and they seem to have a lot more, issues because they can't afford security personnel in house. They
Right.
can't afford high end security services, so they have to kind of, deal with what they have, and then they end up getting, compromised, and then they got, So I was my idea was to at some point, once I could understand, like you said, how to use that skill set to turn it into a client base, I would, do what I could to do that. But yeah, it feels pretty similar as far as, what you're saying you offer people, and at least kind of the idea that I had in my head, as to how I would try to structure my business. So,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
Because
sounds very similar.
if you see my model, right, I don't train and leave. No,
Yeah.
I train and stick to the people, because
And
that is
and that's what I've been looking for too, to be honest, Meyer, is a mentor. I've been looking for, and that's been hard to find because of my financial situation. And whether or not we continue on from here, who knows? But at least this is my first conversation I've had one-to-one with somebody, so at least that I appreciate the fact that you took the time. It's 6 a.m. here in the United States, so but I appreciate the fact that I'm able to at least have a one-on-one conversation with somebody right now to kind of get some ideas of where to go. So
because it is like back and forth, you will be
yeah,
learning definitely a lot of things, but on top
yeah,
of it, it's not just learning. If I when
right,
I don't leave people, it is like whatever people I train, they are always with me. Okay, when I say always with me, I have like community of like 70 to 80 people around. Okay, and let's say in future, if you want to build a business, okay, maybe in United States or whatever, definitely you are not the person who is going to work for them, right? And you will be needing resources, you will be needing someone who will be doing it for you. So
yeah,
that is the place where the community kicks in, because these guys
right,
are also where they want to, they also want to make some money, although they don't want to provide services, but they want to work for some, maybe freelancing or something like that. But they have
right,
the, so it's like complementing whatever I do. So that is
right.
it. I make sure these guys learn the right stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and it's I think it's good to have someone. It's like I'm on Discord channels, but there's only so much communication going on
I would say just a
between like
strong
new
phone
people
support.
and people that they don't know. You know what I mean? Like if there are people that are already in the group, that's one thing. But yeah, to try to start to get involved with a handful of people that you can bounce things off of and ask questions and really feel like you get an answer rather than go, well, look this up and do that and then you'll have it. Like well, that
And
didn't really
nobody
help
will
me.
show you, nobody will
Yeah,
actually show you the bugs, because that is,
right.
it's like a money making thing, and which is fair.
Yeah, right. And I get it. It's like show me your wallet or show me your poker hand. I get that, it's like you're not supposed to do that. But but by the
But
same token, it's like how do people learn if they don't really know what it is they're supposed to look at? So
but
uh
in the mentorship program, it's like just a poker thing, because I
yeah,
cannot reveal things in publicly, but definitely to my community, I can tell them, okay, this was my methodology, this was my mindset, this was what I thought before submitting this bug, and
yeah,
this is the kind of report I create, and this is the methodology that you have to be looking, right?
yeah,
You have to be looking at a 360-degree view. There is not XSS, CSRF, and all that stuff. You can literally Google and learn it, but that is not where the money lies. The money lies
right,
in something else.
yeah,
It's the OAuth, the authentication bypasses, and then
right,
there are a lot of different stuffs which are around that. Maybe the company is having Zendesk, Jira, Salesforce, those type of integrations.
right.
So you have to look in that way. And
Yeah,
if you know like how I did it for one, then definitely you can, like everyone is skilled enough to Google, right? So they will definitely go here and there and read some research papers, and then they will come back and they will have their own designed way. That is what
yeah,
the outcome should
right,
be.
yeah.
So that is what
Yeah.
how mentorship program is all around actually.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, and again, that's been my hang up is knowing where to go next. It's like I can it's like I'll try to like, well, I'm gonna try to see what I can do here. I'll try to start something. I'll get on Hackerone. I'll look up something. I'll start scanning. I'll start pulling out, and then I'm like, I'll get to the point where I've got a few, I've got a couple APIs. I'm like, okay, now what? Now what do I do? I feel like, and that's where I guess inherently I feel like I'm approaching it from the wrong direction, from the
Yeah.
wrong angle, and I know that like just going in there like blindly looking for an XSS vulnerability is like that's like the dumbest thing that I can imagine. The dumbest possible like I don't know. It's like going into a building looking for bad guys with a gun pointed at yourself. Like
Yeah, the correct example, what you just said it. Perfect.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. But
But this bug bounty world is that way only. Like it's that way.
yeah,
Even you cannot rely on things which are out there. Most of the time, people will tell you that okay, they got a bounty, and most of the time, what they will be doing is they will be just inspect element, change the amount, and then screenshot. That's it.
right,
Like
right. Yeah,
so we
yeah,
cannot trust. We should have someone who can literally have gone through the phases. We don't even want their money or something like that. What we want is the way and that methodology that he has been through. That's it. And
right,
trust, like Recon is nowhere close to the actual methodology what these guys are showing, and they are actually what they are doing, right?
right,
So
right.
is the thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and I was gonna say, if you're a bug hunter and you're spending that much, and and I've heard other bug hunters that are more honest about it. They're like, if you're spending that much time on recon, then I don't know why you're doing that. You're wasting a lot of time that you could be out there, like you said. I think it's getting, you can start to find, you can start to see what you're supposed to see. You run into those things that you're like, but it's a lot of trial and error. And I know that there's a learning curve involved. I know that it's a lot of it's just going to take time. But again, I do believe that, I do believe there's a better method. And
There is a lot better
yeah,
method actually, because
yeah,
when see the problem is people are not even looking for the bug. Okay,
right,
like no one is looking for the bug actually. Now, you are
right.
people are doing recon, and that is not
Right.
bug. Okay,
Right. That's what I was like. I feel like I can recon all day, but like, what's it gonna do me?
and the good part about recon is once you have a black screen in front of you with something written on it and it's doing something automatically, it will give
Yeah,
you like you are doing something, like you are.
you look really cool, but I'm not making any money.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but it will give you a vibe that okay, you are already on top of others because I'm just sitting and watching my screen is doing something. Okay,
yeah. I
but
don't
that's
feel like
not.
Neo in the Matrix, but I don't feel.
Yeah,
But
and that is not the case. Like you should like recon, forget recon. The target is where the functionality is, right?
right.
You have to figure out bug in yahoo.com. So Yahoo is providing mailing services, news services, whatnot. So have you gone?
Mhm.
No, right? We are just doing recon, and like we don't know what we are even looking, and then we are calling
Right.
no. So that is
Yeah.
a, that is how it works, because there is a lot, when I say like looking for bugs, you just have to know what type of things pay and just jump
Right.
on it, as simple
Yeah.
that. Nothing more important in that thing.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Agreed. Um, well, so I guess what would be the next step here? I'm definitely interested in learning more. Again, I don't know. You tell me what I guess what's the next natural step here.
So I would say like to join the mentorship program. Okay.
Sure,
Because this mentorship program is like, having a lifetime access is something which nobody can offer. Okay. It literally requires a lot of responsibility and even self-confidence to at least offer that. Okay. So, well, I can offer it because I know like definitely what I learned, it might take years to learn, but
sure.
definitely you don't have to put that much amount of input or something like that. And you can literally cut that gap in like maybe 2 or 3 months. Okay,
Okay.
because hit and trials, everything I have covered in like possibly 3 videos for me. That's it. Okay. And
Yeah.
same goes for you. You don't have to waste, on things which are not working. So actually I will just share my screen and show you.
Yeah, I saw where you do. I saw the one where you were on that on the green fly and then pulled up the directories. I'm like, wow, I was, like just the fact that and then knowing like, oh, those because those are directories nobody should have access to.
Right.
Uh, stumbling upon that and then seeing it by accident, I would have never known like, well, those aren't directories nobody's supposed to have access to.
Right.
But,
And it will actually clear the way of thinking, like I was not doing recon and on that green flag target, right? Because
right.
this one only, I know like if the bug is there, I will be finding in this direction,
Yeah.
else nothing is there, as
Right.
simple.
If X, then Y, it's like it's really, but it's again, if knowing what the if X part is, if X, then Y, but I've got to know what the if X portion is. Like, what is it that I have to look for here?
No.
I didn't know anything about Gyra, you know what I mean? Still don't, but
Yeah. So let me know once you can see my screen.
yeah, I can see it.
Okay, awesome. So once you enroll in this mentorship program, you will be given access to this portal.
Okay.
And this portal is totally managed by me and my team, where I will be taking care of everything actually. Okay.
Okay.
Because the thing is, if something is working now, might not work after 5 or 6 months down the line. So I have to
Right.
make sure, okay, things are updated, or even if you need some more input on something, I can literally add up here. Okay.
Yeah, and I appreciate the fact that you are keeping it up to date too. Again, I took Naham Sek's bug bounty course, and it was like whenever I even tried to access the labs, I had trouble, and then found out in the notes like further down that he had done something a few months down the road that would change where you had to go to access the labs and blah blah blah. But I didn't know that until I dug into the notes, and it just those are things that like not to say the information is not valuable, and not to say that I didn't take away some stuff from it and learn some things, but it's just the interactivity of it and the lack of like live, Q&A live kind of back and forth, or even just having some up to date information would
Yeah.
would
Now,
have been a whole more helpful. But yeah.
because now like attack vector changes every 6 or 7 months actually. Okay, so now I'm looking around AI and around AI. Okay, I what I do is I look for bug and then I deliver it here. Okay, and I don't go for HackerOne or bug crowd. I just validate one or two report and that's it. Because and
Yeah.
now I'm into much into the research and something. Okay, so now AI is there. If I'm doing something on AI and I know okay these are the type of bugs are there, then there should be something where I can literally update it, right? So this is that portal where you will be getting all the access. Okay. So here actually, if you see, it will start from week one. Okay.
Yeah.
Once all you will be having week one access and everything. Here, basic mindset which are required to be a bug bounty hunter. Okay. So it will clear a lot of different stuffs for you. Okay. And because even these are very, very important because people are not even aware of that. Because if you are just a college guy or someone, he might be thinking, okay, he can be a billionaire next day. It doesn't work like that. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Right.
all that things need to be
Be nice, but I just, yeah, I'm that's not my goal, unfortunately. Thankfully, that's not the dream I have.
yeah, yeah, definitely. It won't be. Shouldn't be actually.
Yeah.
Okay. And then actually these are some of the things which nobody will actually tell you. Okay. Nobody is
Right.
actually showing you their journey. And that is
Yeah.
what we want to see. Like
They'll try to act like they are, but it's like the smallest, the least important part of their journey. It's not the part anybody wants to know. Like I want to know the details. Like where'd you fail? What was the problems?
exactly, we want to know the failing strategies, right? So all that is taught in this, I just covered my journey and consolidated here because it took me 8 months to just figure out my first bug, which was of
Yeah.
somewhere dollars.
Yeah.
And that is full crap. Okay, although for me it was a learning, but I did
Yeah.
all this. I did code scan, certificates, subdomain, DNS, backend technologies, whatever they told
Right.
me.
The same everything you always hear. It's like I do this, I do this, I do this, I do this, and I'm some then a bug's gonna fall in my lap. You know what I mean?
And this is not what you have to do, like accesses and all that. Actually, it's in detail. When you go in this video, it will actually tell you what type of, mindset and what type of bugs that you don't have to look, followed by the, and then what I have, like how
Yeah.
is how I approach a target, what type of bugs I look. Definitely, if something is taking like more than 15 to 30 days to find a single bug, then it is not working in the first place. You can waste more
Right.
year doing the same stuff again, right?
Right. Right.
So definitely the good bug is something that pays, as simple, nothing fancy, right?
Yeah.
And don't want to go into any like
Bad
information.
bug, no money. Good bug, money. Yeah. Right.
Hardly care. Okay. And why I'm saying so, it's all thought in this thing actually. Okay. And then this is a video where I have just consolidated what all, like on a high level, what people usually do, like referral leak, click checking, and all that stuff, which is fair.
Yeah.
And sometimes these might also pay. So if you want to go for that, you can go for it. Okay. But I usually don't go for like those things nowadays, but it's all there. Okay. So it's totally up.
A lot of times, like I just know that I keep seeing it in scopes, or like where a lot of these companies will like put it out of their scope. You can't click jack, no self XSS or any of that stuff. It's like that must be like people must be like left and right trying to submit, like I got an access, I got a this, I got that, and then they're like no, no, nope, nope, sorry, nope, doesn't, nope. So I just whenever I imagine like all these people searching for like all the wrong things in all the wrong ways. I just that's why I had to get a hold of you or somebody just to try to be like, man, I've got to filter myself out of that so that I can try to find, a different method, because this obviously is just it's everybody's method. You know what I mean? And everybody does the same 5, 6 things with the same 5, 6 tools, but I don't see anybody producing a vulnerability and showing me a vulnerability in any of these videos. Like they'll do all these methodologies, and I can follow 2 hours of reconnaissance and watch Jason Haddix do all this stuff and see a single paying vulnerability at the end of it.
They
Like,
will never show you like what they are reporting. Come on, guys, we want to see that what they.
yeah, I mean, I don't, they just show me one that paid out. Show me one that paid out. Not saying
Even
that they're lying, what I mean, but they're not going to tell me the one that got the payout. So,
right, like
yeah,
you're wasting like watching 2 or 3. If you're like delivering 3 or 4 hours of content and you're not even showing what bug you are submitting, then
Man,
what?
it's just a wasted amount of content to me. It is. It's, and I'm not, again, I'm not discounting the value of the information for people that don't know what they're doing at all.
But
Uh,
then we don't.
but for the people who,
Yeah, so that is the thing, and actually, I have like properly analyzed, like showcase how the target looks like. Okay, how
yeah,
the mindset of an attacker should be when it comes to a target. Okay, because there are a lot of different things when it comes to a target, because it's an organization at the end. Okay, and then why I am saying so, like why I don't want to go with recon and everything or whatever. It's all here in depth. I have literally talked so much in depth about this because it will just waste time, nothing else. Okay, and then with proofs. Okay, because people want proof, and this is my Hackerone where I just submitted some of the bugs which are like nowhere going to be accepted. Okay,
right.
so this nmap scan I submitted and they said okay, no. Okay, and then again, because nmap shows it's a bug, so what can a noob do? The best he can do is form a report and submit, right? So they will come back and say okay, no, that is not even a good report or something like that.
See, and that, gosh, that is so disappointing too. You know what I mean? Like you'll go through all that, and then see that's again, your tool tells you it's a vulnerability. You trust the tool. You submit the report, and they're like, turns out no, your tool was wrong. Or it's just a generic scan of something, and they didn't really. That's where I guess I don't like the reliability of tools. Is
Exactly, for bug
not
bounty
that.
it is.
Yeah. It's again, I think it's having an eye. It's having an eye and knowing what it is that you are looking for.
Because
So
if you write a tool tomorrow and if you circulate in the internet, everyone will download and just make a big
right. There's a new tool every day, Meyer. Like everybody's got a new port scanner every day, man. There's a new HTTP probe every day. It's like I can't even do it. I can't even like I've tried them all, and they all produce the same thing. What do you want to do? Yeah,
and if you
I
just
know.
put something like in your tool saying that this is vulnerable, guys will literally report it without even validating. So,
Right. I yeah.
so
And I can't in good conscience. Like I don't want to start, and that's the thing is like I don't want to start developing bad habits. I'm just getting started here. I don't want to develop bad habits. I don't want to be running in the wrong direction for years only to find out, oh my God, I should have been doing this a totally different way. I want to feel like that I am approaching it from the get-go in the right way because I want to start making money at it and I don't want to be discouraged by chasing my tail, I guess, so to speak. Like I don't want to feel like I'm chasing my tail and then just end up getting mad and giving up on it. I mean, I've already spent a couple of years, trying to, get the education and take some of the trainings and take some steps. And I'm proud of myself for sticking with it, but I definitely don't want to be taught the wrong things.
yeah,
And because I'm doing university and they don't give a shit. I mean, I'm sorry to be frank. They don't care about your education. They care about the fact that you can pay for it and then whether you go to class or get anything out of it, that's on you.
like
I do it all online, and I don't have an instructor saying we meet once a week and they go over a lecture. I have not had a one-on-one conversation with a human being since I started school. So they don't care like they used to, Meyer. They don't care like they used to.
and how the institution culture works. So it's like, that is how it is. Nobody cares in institution. It's like they have to
Right. It's like you either get it or you don't. Buy. Where's your money?
exactly. That is the thing. This whole thing is like, then I also reported some of the CVs because Nmap said it was CV, and Nmap comes with some NSE scripts decently saying that, okay, give me that script and I will look for all the possible subdomains. So I had
Right.
that million domains and I was looking for like anything. And again, they will say, okay, this is nothing, like whatever CV, even I have reported some CVs. So they say, okay, we don't need it and all that stuff. Okay. And then what people do is usually now
if
they
you are
will go
getting
into and then burp scam, I usually call it, where burp suit will give you some of the things like external service internet, the other things and all. And I thought, okay, it might be a bug because it is trying to call some external APIs from internally and all. But again, if you just report it, it's like a plain vanilla zero stuff. Okay.
Right.
So that is the thing. And again, on top of it, I also did some more around XML RPCs, WordPress, and all that
Yeah.
is a big crap. I reported all of them. I reported all of them. It took me decent amount of time, but that is a learning that you don't have to
Yeah.
do.
Right. 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 Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then comes like how my methodology looks like. Okay, like what type of bugs I found, because there are definitely bugs which I can found in 15 minutes, which I just showed in the green pipeline. Okay.
Right. Yeah. That gyro demo, I was like, what the hell? How, I mean, how is it like it's like I'm and and I have to say that like just in what little I've began to understand is like a lot of your browser extensions are just as valuable, if not more so, than any of these stupid Kali tools. I mean, I love Kali, don't get me wrong, and I think it's great and this and then it's really cool and everybody gets to play and be a pen tester, pretend they're a hacker and everybody's Mr. Robot. But like the web browser extensions are just as valuable. You know what I mean? Shit. Well, the OWASP pen testing extension is freaking better than anything I've played with so far.
Yeah, true. Because we
Yeah.
need to, have, only limited knowledge, but should be
Yeah.
organized. Because
Right.
if that is not the case, then university's professor would be the richest person, like if knowledge would have been the power, then the
Right.
people who are like teaching, those should be the making the
They'd be
lot
the
of.
ones to go to. Yeah, they're the oracles, but they are definitely not.
The power is in organized knowledge, because
Yes.
it's a real thing actually. So that is the thing. Here I will have like shown what type of bugs I submit. So Jira is one of that. Then there are some more bugs around Jira. And definitely I don't recommend people to just watch and just submit on like wild, okay, because
Yeah.
everyone who is doing it, might be doing the same. So just tweak it a bit. Maybe go for private invites. If you have a decent private invites, then it's a totally different thing. But if it is on public, because this will hardly take 10 or 15 minutes, right? And then you are just throwing it like a wild, then it's a different thing. So you have to tweak a little bit around that. Okay. And then there are some bugs around Zendex, right? Because there are like a lot of targets. Every company has Zendex, as simple as that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how to look
Yeah.
for
And
the.
that's I don't hear, and then I say again, it's like, and you're the first person I have to say that has mentioned like the people will talk about a particular type of owner, the OWASP top 10. That's all I talk about.
Yeah.
Nobody, not a one person has mentioned about, I mean, yes, somebody will say like, look at the technology it uses and then start from there. But
Yeah.
that's all anybody says. Nobody says, hey, this, you know what, if you look into Gyro, because this right here, this is a problem. This is a bug right here. And then nobody's saying, you know, 90% of the world uses Zendesk. Why would you not start here? It's like the Microsoft IIS thing. It's like at least those I can get with a method that goes there. But the people that are leaving that out, I feel like they're leaving out valuable information. So yeah.
So that is the thing. And this meeting is going to end actually. So I also checked your number on WhatsApp, but it was not on WhatsApp. So
Yeah, I don't think I've downloaded WhatsApp for business yet. But I'll do that.
So like if
Because I'd
I
like
want to
to.
communicate, like because this will going to end, so I will just reschedule a meeting. So
Okay.
just revert back on the mail. I think your mail address is there.
Yes.
So once this meeting is end, I will just share you the new link. So we can just continue the conversation and we can just close all the queries. Okay.
Sounds great. I appreciate your time and I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, sure. I will just share the meeting invite again. Just give me a second. Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Okay, great.
Okay, awesome. But just refresh the email that you have. Okay. Not now. Just give me a minute.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, I will just share you the link. So I'll just
Okay.
stop and share you the link.
So and yeah, I guess we'll get into cost here in a second. But I just I didn't know how you structured the program and the mentorship. But yeah, I'm
I'll just
yeah,
clear all the queries. So just me a minute. I will just share you a new link. Okay.
you're good. Yeah.